Hello, hello, Dr. Doula here. Greetings, everybody. Everyone. Here to offer you a lifeline, add a little value to your day. You know, I love sharing things. And oh my goodness, have you heard of the still face experiment? Well, supposedly they say that it's the reason why we have our different attachment styles and whatever. So look it up because it's really interesting, especially those who have children or are thinking about ways to connect with their little ones. But basically what they do is they sit a parent in front of a baby, interacting. Hi, 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 ooh, 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 ooh. And then they have, after a while, they have maybe a few minutes, they have the parent turn their head and just come back and go blank, like just don't offer anything, right? And so the baby, I think the one that they show was like 1 year old. They were showing like these little 1 year olds, and the babies will start to try to get that. They've been mirroring what the parents do, and now they're trying to get the interaction from the parent. They're trying to get it. And they show a series of things, the efforts that the baby makes to get the attention. They'll bang and they do whatever. And they let the scream out. They do all the different things because they're looking at their parent like this, and the parent is not responding to anything. And eventually the baby gets upset because, catch this, even though they're there, they're not there with them. And so they talk about this as a reason why some children, might have behavioral issues or emotional challenges and things like that. That's what they talk about. They say, oh, this is the reason, this is an example of what can happen when you neglect. So they went to neglect. Now I have a bunch of, I'll let you look at that on your own. I have a bunch of thoughts about that. The first one is, this is a very Western experiment. Very Western, particularly because in most traditional or indigenous cultures, and many of them, that type of attention being paid to a child while the parent would be sitting and just doing nothing but focusing on them, it's not really realistic. It's not a real thing. In fact, I do birth work and work with families and things like that. When it comes to that, I remember I was talking to my South African mom, and she was showing me, I said I would bring it out, forgot to bring it, the imbalago. Imbalago is, it's carried, it's one of the ways that you carry a baby on their back, right? On your back. Well, see, the point is, one of the things she told me was, she says, if you have your baby in the front, if your baby is here and you're carrying, you're not working. Because I was like, oh, Mama Maureen, but what about carrying your baby in the front? She's like, if your baby's in the front, you aren't working. She said, you can't cook over a stove and cook over this and do all these things. If you have a baby in the front, they'll get burned. They'll get this. She said, you can't work with the baby in the front, so we work with the baby in the back. So the thought, hey, Marsha, hey, Diaz, my blessings go out to you, Marsha. The thought that a baby would always be looking at, you could always look at your baby in the front, that you could always give your baby this undivided attention, it's not really realistic. It's a very Western way of being. In fact, I found when I would try to introduce or help parents that wanted to learn to carry their babies on their back, if you wait till like they're a year old, those babies are terrified. They are terrified and mortified that they can't see their mom's faces. And I used to say, what's going on with this? Like, what is really happening with this, where our babies are afraid to not see our faces? That was a big deal. And I think the last time I thought about it was about 6 years ago. I was trying to help someone carry on their back, and the baby was just not having it. She wanted to see her mom's face. It was just not going to happen. And I was like, wow, this is so interesting. But is it? Culturally, they're saying that because we interact with our babies than we, like they say, I have my phone, I'm on my phone, but they say even like the act of your baby is here and you're on your phone like this and you're scrolling, that the baby trying to get your attention, like trying to get your attention, that becomes a form of neglect. I think that sometimes, I mean, I have so many questions, and hey Marcia, I wanted to ask, I said I will ask so many questions. Like, for example, I'm a middle, so the first thought that comes to me is, so I was born in December, and then my baby sister was born a year and a half later. They're saying that for 3 years, the baby should get that attention when they need it. Well, what about me as a middle? I'm like, if something else comes up as far as attention, no one can get that consistent attention all the time. Now, this is why it mattered to me, because it's really something you should go look up. If you're like, oh, I want to be, if you just want to see how it is. Our babies are really looking, they're mirroring us. They're giving us what we're giving them. But balance is always important. Balance is always important. The thought that we can give, I'm offering you a lifeline for all those, I'm sitting there saying, well, how for 3 years, mothers go back to work at 6 and 8 weeks. And not in other countries, they get more time. But how can I give this baby this undivided attention if I have cooking that I'm doing and I'm doing all these things? The suggestion is that the reason why some of us turn out to be, you have this type of attachment style, you're like this in your relationships, it's because your mother didn't look at you enough, and your father didn't engage you enough. Now, it's a beautiful experiment, so please go look at it, because it was so much insight. But what I want to also say is we sometimes have these unrealistic ideals that come to me. This is what I saw. You're unrealistic about what you think a relationship should be. So then here it comes, I forget. I never watched the movie where they were like, you complete me and all these things. But when we're thinking about ourselves in these relationships that we have, the thought that someone could give us always undivided, whatever attention, no matter what else is going on, it's not realistic. It's not. A lot of the things that we are expecting are not realistic. Listen to half of and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but half of the, 30-somethings that have the answer to all relationships. They swear that all of the generations before never had fulfilling relationships. They were never empowered women. The men were always bullies. Like, here's the answer. The answer is to always be this way, to always be that way. Well, the truth is, for example, me, I've been married for 30 years. I was 21 years old when I married my husband. There is no way that me at 51, about to be 52, is the same individual. The notion that you can always be something for someone, and then to have research that says, yes, as a child, this is why. It's because your mother didn't, focus directly on you all the time. You didn't have caregivers that always cared for you, and that's why you're not sure of it. They said if the baby notices and realizes that affection will come back, then it's like it's healthy. That's what they said. They said that's healthy and it's fine. To me, the notion, like when I'm thinking of the women that I've seen that have their babies with them, and they're not even looking at their faces, and these babies are learning to adapt socially and things like this. It's just a very Western experiment. But at the same time, I want to just encourage us to understand nobody can be everything that you need. Because as soon as they become that thing that you think you need, you're going to change, and now you're dissatisfied again. Why is it their job to be everything that you need? Why? And I get it. We have our expectations. We know what we want. It's not wrong to desire a thing, but why are they everything that we need? And the guilt that we put on ourselves as parents to be everything that our children need, it's not realistic. All of my children are adult aged, okay? I thought I was like, I am here with you every day. I homeschool you. I mean, I can be at your, when they transition to public school, I can be there whenever you need it, whatever. And they still got to an age where they told me, Mom, you didn't know what was going on here. Mom, this is how I felt about when you did that. Our putting this, and I'm not talking about neglect. I'm talking about who we're seeking to be as humans. You can't be everything to everybody, whether it's your children. Hey, Francine, whether it's your partner, we're not equipped to be everything to everybody. And we put this pressure on ourselves. DS says, I truly believe most mothers do the very best they can for their children. I believe that. That is my truth. I believe that. I did that myself. And then I still allowed them to tell me when they got older, this is something I would have loved more of. Hey, Paul, we do the best that we can. Your partner cannot be everything for you. Like I said, it's a very good experiment, the still face. But how many of us are like, why did you look like that? Why did you do that? Okay, let me tell myself. I'm watching my husband. He'll be doing something. I'm like, well, what's that face for? What's that whatever for? We're conditioned almost, unless we grow out of it and allow ourselves to evolve as humans and grow, we're conditioned that, hate to say it this way, but I'm going to say it, that everything is about us. And it's not. I ask my sons sometimes, even with them telling me the truth about what their experience with me was, I'm always excited. One of my youngest, he's like, I've had the best life. I'm like, huh? And then my number 2 was like, it's been so good. What? And I'm like, y'all didn't know when we was broke, y'all didn't notice we ate ramen noodles with vegetables sliced every night. They said, no, we just thought that's what it was. Y'all didn't realize we didn't have nothing. Y'all didn't realize your daddy was laid off. Y'all didn't realize that things had happened. Y'all didn't realize that life had happened. No, it was great. And I asked them, I said, did you ever feel like one of you was liked or loved more than the other? And they said, no, I never felt that. I think you pretty much, y'all loved us kind of like in our own way. That to me is it just makes my heart sing. And then of course, one of them, he'll come in and say, Mom, you don't have to say it in front of the rest. I know I'm your favorite. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. He's like, shh, Mom, don't say it because it'll hurt their feelings if they don't know that they're, I'm like, it's Imani. It's my number 2. That one with the booming voice. How you doing, Ma? Blah, 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 blah. The one with the long locks, and he's the musician, and he's this loctician, and he's this and that. He swears and doesn't care. He's like, Mom, don't say it, though, in front of them. I love that one of my middles is like, no, I always knew I was the favorite. What? And I'm asking others, did I have they're like, he is not your favorite. I love it. Because the truth is, I had 4 sons. I did not have time to stare in one child's face and not ever turn my gaze. In fact, sometimes I sent their bigger, older sibling, hey, go play with so-and-so, because I was cooking. I was being a mom, I was being a wife, I was being I was doing all these things. But so I didn't say it before, I'm going to say it. There's a part of us that has to grow up. I don't use clinical words because it's not, first of all, my profession. Second of all, it's not my expertise. But you can call it whatever you want when the world revolves around you, when it feels like the world should revolve around you. You label that however you want. When you work to make everything revolve around you, do it however you want. Whatever you want to call that, you can call it that. But the truth of the matter is this. The world does not revolve around us. It doesn't revolve around your hurts. Hey, Janice. It doesn't revolve around your hurts, your disappointments. It doesn't revolve around any of it. And we have to learn how to navigate that. Going into our relationships, look, we all do the best we can for our children. Like DS said, what else did you say? She said, truly believe most mothers do the very best they can for their children. We're all doing the best we can. Look, you can look and say to somebody, no, I know somebody, she just, listen, mind your business, drink your water, mind your business. Everybody's doing what they can. You don't know what's her last straw. It might have been her last straw. I would rather her take her time than hurt a baby. Just give people grace. Because I know I need grace. And I think I'm a great mom. But I know I need grace. I know I need grace because I hurt people sometimes even when I don't mean to. I know I need grace. And so I would like that. I try to extend that to other people. We cannot be everything for everybody. Diaz says, Francine said, hey, I agree, but how do we still carry the guilt that somehow we can be everything? Because we listen to me. Here I'm yelling. I'm just going to be, because this is how I feel about it. We listen, like especially now with all of the social media stuff and everything, you know, it's like we see other things and I got an answer. Oh my gosh, I get chills because I read somewhere, I was reading a book. I forget the name of it, so I'm not going to butcher it. The person said we are more loyal to this other thing over here, to what people think, to what our ways have been and what we've, even if we don't like what we've believed, we're still loyal to it. We're so loyal to it that we will continue. If you know that you've done the best you could, that you found, if you know that and you know that here, the loyalty you have to that thing will cause you to stick with it anyway. We do it all the time. Why won't you move forward? This is because this is the only thing I know is to feel this way because my mom and my aunties felt bad and everybody I know feels bad. And the one that doesn't feel bad, well, she should feel bad. She should. If she doesn't feel bad, she should feel bad. Look, I was with my children 24/7 for 13 years. And I still didn't always get it, what I would look back and say right now, because I was learning. When we hold someone else's opinion of us and we're more loyal to it than we are with what Creator is saying about us, what our highest selves and best selves say about us, then that's why we feel horrible. We feel horrible because someone says, well, you shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't do that thing. That's why we in each other's business a little bit more than we should be. You know, I have to catch myself all the time. Girl, mind your business. Mind your business, Drea. Mind your business. That's how they want to do with their kids. They not hurting them. They just not, it's not the way I would do it. But they're going to be amazing humans. They're not hurting these babies. They're just different than me. And sometimes when we feel that we've been criticized, the way that we get over that is by criticizing other people. Okay, so let me stop talking about me. That's what I've done. When I felt judged, I went and set myself to judge. And it was like, okay, I know you're not talking about whatever because the way I see it is you're like this. We're more loyal to what other people say. And when we decide that we'll be more loyal to our lived experiences and our connection with the Most High, then we'll see things differently. That's honestly something that I'm working on right now. And I'm not going to lie to you. So every now and then I'd be like, where is this thought coming from? Why are you feeling like this? And I will just be feeling a certain way and have no real reason. Diaz said, yes, my son told me that where I fell short, I apologized and told him I did the best that I could and could continue doing the best I could until death do us part. That is so beautiful. Hey, cousin. That's the thing. It's like, you know, we do the best that we can. And I believe we don't just do the best that we can. Hey, Naja. I don't believe we don't just that we just do the best that we can with our children. I believe we do it with our partners. I believe we are doing the best that we can. And it's some of this stress that we put in on ourselves and shape-shifting that we're trying to do to be like someone else. I don't even have the gifts and talents and skills as someone else. I have my own uniqueness. So if I'm a mom, I was a very resourceful mom. I was very creative. We did a bunch of stuff. Why would somebody who's not homeschooling compare themselves to me and being around their kids the way I was? Hey, Janice. Hey, Jacqueline. Hey, Nikki. Why would I compare themselves to me? And why am I comparing myself to them? We're doing the best that we can. It's a beautiful experiment. Like I said, it gave me a lot of insights about what was really like things I hadn't thought of in my own life. Like, where am I seeking to get this validation? Where am I seeking for someone's approval? And when they turn their head from me, now all of a sudden I can't, function. It's like, what are they thinking? How many likes? How many views will I get? Oh my goodness. Like, where am I doing that? Where it is something that's akin to me not growing up. Hey, Natasha, more fully into who I am as an adult. One that understands. See, I understand mentally that, let me use this for example. I'll get people that say, oh, I caught your video the other day. Now, they give us analytics and they'll say, hey, see how many people saw your video, how many people liked your video, blah, 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 or your post or your whatever. And if you're a content creator and you're seeking to do things with it, it's very useful. However, if you're using that to gauge your importance in the world, if you're using it to determine, oh, I shouldn't talk about that anymore because when I talked about that, then I didn't get as many views, or when I posted this, when actually the algorithm, you don't have nothing to do with that. You cannot control that. So, but if you sit your personal opinion of yourself on that, because well, so and so gets all of this, and so does all of that, and so, and I'm all over the place. When the point is, I got on here today because I saw an experiment called a still face experiment, and I thought it was so interesting, and it was something that was going to make me think about how I'm looking at the world and where I'm looking for approval and validation. And I was like, that can be a lifeline to somebody. Those that are trying to be the best parents that they can, those that are trying to be the best partners that they can maybe that'll help them just relax a little bit and understand that we all do the best that we can. If I miss that point that I got on here to do that, and I gauge it based on how many people commented, liked, shared, or anything like that, then I missed the point of a lot of things. We are doing the best that we can. We are doing the best that we can. Sometimes life can hit you so that the best that you can is laying in bed a little bit longer. Now, of course, no, you don't want to stay there. You don't want to stay in a lower place. But sometimes life, that's how it brings itself to you. And that is me recharging to give those that I love the best that I can. So the still face experiment is really good. But just understand you can't be everything for everybody. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, the best person you can be is you. Your children, I believe, our children chose us. They chose us, and I love DS. Oh my goodness, I loved your comment where he's like, I'll do the best that I can with you. To death do us part, till we leave here. I'll do the best that I can for you. That's all I got. And meanwhile, realizing that they're going to change. Our sons and daughters aren't going to need us the same way. And so what was important and meaningful then is not going to feel important and meaningful maybe in 5 or 10 years. Or maybe someone else will come and feel this thing and whatever. Us looking for how we can please people and is this good? That's a thing that we have to kind of mature out of a little. And we have to do it with intention. It has to be on purpose. It has to be something we decide to do so that we can live our most fulfilled lives. So we can do the thing that's most important to us. And by that, I don't mean that it's all about us. as my friend said, my sister said, but it is all about you. It's about the fact that you came here to live a purpose. And if you're focused on everybody else, hey Lisa, if you're focused on everybody else being happy with you and watching their facial expressions and thinking that if someone is unhappy with you, that somehow whatever, or the opposite, I don't care about anything. Hey, why don't we just not, how about if you really don't care, then I don't care comes across different than I don't care. Like, it's like if it doesn't matter, it's like walking down the street and you don't know somebody, walking past a person and just walking, that's a I don't care. But as long as your conversation and everything is, I don't care anyway. I don't care. Don't nothing matter to me. I'm just going to encourage you, why don't you check on that a little? Because as long as it's still coming out, I don't care what people think about me. When you really don't care what people think about you, you won't have to say it anymore. When it really doesn't matter, you won't be like that baby that's protesting in the chair to get the attention. You really need to see how these babies respond just because they didn't get a reaction from their parent or their guardian or their person. When you really don't care, and you really care and are more loyal to who you are, who created you to be, then you'll be totally different. And you won't focus so much on whether people like or don't like. Let me talk to me, because that's still a thing I walk out every day. And I feel the residue of things from my past, and I have to remind my subconscious, like, yo, we're not there anymore, remember? We're past that. Why are you focused? Where did you get where you started focusing on that again? Hey, hot. I love y'all. It's an amazing experiment. Check it out. And then when you see how those babies are, question yourself and say, am I still seeking to get this attention, this approval, this validation from this person enough to just throwing fits, banging, just because, not because the mom is, oh, my thing fell, not because the mom is not there, but because she's not there. Just take a look. I love y'all. Bye.